All right, we're now going to begin. Good afternoon, General Conference.
Good afternoon.
All right, let's try that again. I think you can do that better. Good afternoon, General Conference.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is John Scholl. I'm a bishop in the United Methodist Church serving the New Jersey area. And I'm grateful for the way that you've been working together and just the way that we've been able to move through the petitions this afternoon. And we want to continue that process. Working with me today are two of my colleagues. To my left is Bishop Bob Hoshabata, and he is from the Phoenix area. And then also to my right is Bishop Sally Dick from the Chicago area. I've invited Sally to come back and join us just in case the body needs any other hot tips. She told me she has a full bag of hot tips for the body this afternoon. This is our last session together, this General Conference. Amen? Amen. You know, I thought about some biblical passages to read as we get started, and my mind went right to the last days, or the last day. And as I started to read some of those passages about the end times, I thought maybe that's not quite the way to go. But I do want to just share a portion of John 14, one of the final times Jesus was with his disciples. And Jesus said to them, "Peace I leave with you, not as the world gives, but as I give. Let not your hearts be troubled." Let us join together in prayer. Come, angel of God, and preside over this session as we prepare to move from discussing the church to being the church, from deliberation to gospel action, from wondering what will change to being the change we want to see. Come, Holy Spirit, bless our deliberation and set us free to be the church. All this we pray in the name of Jesus the Christ. Amen. So let me just remind you where we are. We have 66 petitions yet before us. We'll do the best that we can. We will be discussing petitions until 5:45 when we have an order of the day. And then at 6 o'clock, we will move to closing worship. That is our time together this afternoon. And so, as we begin, I want to turn to Kim Ingram, the Chair of Ministry and Higher Education Superintendency. Kim, welcome.
Our next petition is on DCA, page 2217. 2217. It is calendar item number 468. It can be found in the ADCA on page 1080. And it is petition number 60525. Item number 468 also addresses Episcopal accountability as it relates to the timing of Episcopal elections. This petition ensures that Central Conference Episcopal elections are held during the regular annual meeting of the Central Conference. This prevents the delay of Episcopal elections beyond the scheduled Central Conference session. This item standardizes the timing for Episcopal elections across the United Methodist Connection. The committee recommends to adopt. The vote was 74 and 2 against.
All right, thank you very much. We're on petition number 60525, page 2217 in the DCA, and in the ADCA, page 1080. Are you ready to vote? Seeing that we're ready to vote, I invite you to take out your keypad. Vote 1 for yes and 2 for no. Please vote now. All right, that was a constitutional matter. It required 2/3 vote, and it is sustained. Thank you very much. We'll turn now back to Kim for the next item.
The next item is on page DCA, number 2217. It is calendar item number 472. It can be found in the ADCA on page 1162, and it is petition number 60183. The committee recommends the petition with the amendments which are printed on page 2217, but better identified by looking at the ADCA on page 1162, and the Book of Discipline on page 458. I'll walk us through them one at a time. First, and this is a different order than what is printed in the DCA, we'll look at the ADCA, page 1162, where the original petition is printed. Looking at this page, strike through the first 6 lines, which is 2 short paragraphs, starting with throughout and ending with leadership, and then keep the rest of the petition as printed in the DCA. The next 2 amendments are additions at different places in the paragraph that aren't included in the portion printed in the DCA or the ADCA. So you'll need to look at your Book of Discipline to follow along. Turn to page 458 in the Book of Discipline, which is paragraph 635. The second amendment removes the words full-time. If you'll look at the beginning of paragraph 635 and count down 5 lines in the English version, the membership of the Board of Ordained Ministry includes at least 2 associate members or full-time local pastors. Strike the words full-time. The third amendment is an insert at the bottom of the same page, 458. At the very bottom of the page, on the last line in the English version, you'll see a period after the word cabinet and before the word to. After that period, you'll insert the sentence, "No district superintendent or extended cabinet member shall be the chairperson of the Board of Ordained Ministry." The original petition expands the description of the role of the Board of Ordained Ministry to match the actual duties that boards of ordained ministry are expected to fulfill. The amendments to the petition address 3 important changes needed for the organization and membership of the Board of Ordained Ministry. The first change that I noted deletes the portion of the petition that would require changing the names of the District Committee on Ordained Ministry and the Board of Ordained Ministry. The second change I listed brings the membership requirements for local pastors into consistency with the decision made on calendar item 227, DCA page 2193, that allows for full-time or part-time local pastors to chair the Fellowship of Local Pastors and Associate Members, thus allowing part-time local pastors who have finished the course of study to serve on the Board of Ordained Ministry. And the third change to the petition clarifies that no district superintendent or extended cabinet member shall chair the Board of Ordained Ministry. This maintains the separation of powers between the Board of Ordained Ministry's responsibility to credential clergy and the Cabinet's responsibility to supervise and deploy clergy. This brings paragraph 635 into consistency with the adopted calendar item 221 that clarifies the district superintendent shall not chair the district committee on ordained ministry. The committee recommends to adopt. The vote was 48 for adoption and 28 against adoption.
All right, this is properly before us. We're on page 2217, calendar item 472, petition number 60183, ADCA 1162. Are you ready to vote? I see that you're ready to vote. Please take out your voting device. All right, we have a point of order. Jeremy Pettigrew, and we're going to invite you to go to microphone number 4.
Thank you,
Microphone
Bishop.
number 4, yes.
Jeremy Pridgeon, Alabama West Florida Conference. I'm just curious as to whether or not there's a corresponding constitutional amendment to address the places in paragraph 33 where it explicitly lists the Conference Board of Ordained Ministry and the District Committee on Ordained Ministry.
All right, we'll turn to the chair.
Jeremy, I'm not sure what you're asking.
Could you please ask that again?
It appears to be a name change in the petition where there's strike through to the Committee on Ministerial Leadership. Deletion? Okay, thank you.
All right. We're glad you were able to answer that for yourself. That's wonderful. Okay. Are you ready to vote? Please take out your voting devices. All who would support signify by selecting 1, yes, and number 2, no. Please vote now. All right, it is approved. Thank you. And now we'll turn to the next item. And Kim, we again turn to you.
The next item is on DCA, page 2216. 2216. It is calendar item number 463. It can be found in the ADCA on page 1134, and it is petition number 60193. For an ordained or clergy or provisional member to transfer from one annual conference to another, it will require a recommendation by the Board of Ordained Ministry Executive Committee and approval by the clergy session of the annual conference. The committee recommends to adopt. The vote was 60 for adoption and 15 against adoption.
All right, that is properly before us. I want to let you know that we have cleared the queue. We are now on item page 2217, calendar item number 463, petition number 60193, ADCA 1134. Are you ready to vote? I see that you're ready to vote. Please take out your voting devices. Press 1 for yes and 2 for no. Please vote now. All right, that is approved. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kim, for you and your committee's work. You've done a great job. Thank you. Let's give her a hand, and the committee as well. We'll now turn to Crystal Johnson from Global Ministries. Well, Charles, you're not Crystal.
That's right. She is somewhere in here.
She's somewhere in the room. Crystal, if you're in the room, please
come up
forward now.
And while she's coming, Bishop, I think I would do a quick gratitude to the leadership of the Global Ministries Committee. This will be our last item presented to this General Conference. We are grateful for the leadership of our elected team, David Wilson, and will you stand where you are and hold your applause for them? David Wilson was the vice chair from the Oklahoma Indian Missionary Conference. Our secretary was Martha Thompson from the South Carolina Annual Conference. We had two subcommittees. Subcommittee A was Krista Johnson, who will come and join me because she will present this item. She was the chair from the Eastern Pennsylvania Conference. Becky Hall, vice chair from the Holston Conference. Riley O'Flint, secretary from the Upper New York Conference. The leadership of Subcommittee B, chair was Mande Muyombo from North Katanga. Vice Chair Bonnie Wolf from Illinois Great Rivers, and Secretary Marley McIntyre from the Florida Conference. We are grateful to these leaders, and especially our two youngest leaders who give great leadership to our committee. At this time, I will turn to Krista Johnson for our last item. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Charles. Crystal, welcome.
Hi, hello everyone. Hi. My name is Crystal Johnson, Eastern Pennsylvania Conference. The item I bring before you today is entitled Wadi Fukim. It can be found on page 2213 of Monday's DCA. That's 2213. It is calendar item 437. You can also find it on page 892 of the ADCA. It is petition number 60843. The General Board of Global Ministries supports this Palestinian village as a designated advanced project community development site. Through a letter penned by the General Conference, this petition seeks to inform U.S. officials, the U.S. Consulate in Jerusalem, and the Israeli Civil Authority of our relationship with the villagers of Wadi Fukim. The letter will urge U.S. officials to call for the Israeli government to cease any further expansion of settlements, confiscation of land, and destruction of life in the village occupied by the Palestinians. The petition supports the withholding of foreign aid until accountability is in place and human rights are restored. With a vote of 46 in favor, 18 against, and 3 abstaining members, our committee recommends adoption and approval of this petition.
All right, thank you, Crystal. That is properly before us. We are on page number 2213 of the DCA, calendar item number 437, petition number 60843, ADCA, page number 892.
Bishop,
I do.
there was a minority. Yep. There is a minority report.
Oh, there is a minority report. All right. Then we will receive the minority report. Who will be giving that? Jim Mundell. Microphone 6. Thank you.
Hi, Jill Wandell from the Missouri Annual Conference. As you can see on the minority report, on DCA, page 2213, we're concerned about a call for withholding foreign aid. In that regard, I would like to make an amendment to the original petition, if that would be in order.
Yes, that is in order.
I would like to make an amendment that at the end of paragraph C, we delete the sentence that says withholding foreign aid until accountability is in place and human rights are restored. So that sentence would end after land and life.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. You are amending the minority report?
No, I'm amending the original petition.
So this is not a minority report, but is an amendment to the original petition. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Then that is not a minority report. That is an amendment. Is that coming from the committee? How did that happen? Tell me a little bit about that.
Earlier in our conference together, we misunderstood what a minority report was, and several minority reports were ruled out of order because they were just an argument against. And so we gathered together and understood that we needed to do something different.
Okay. Then we will take this as an amendment. Is there a second? All right, there is a second. It is properly before us. Before we go to that, we do have a point of order. And let's see, Sandra Olwine, if you would go to microphone 2, please state your purpose.
Conference clergy. I was just going to call the minority report out of order because it violates our rules, and so now she's getting to make an amendment.
Well, yes, I'm sorry that it happened the way it did. We thought it was a minority report, so we'll move forward with the amendment. Would you like to speak for it? The maker of the amendment?
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you.
Our main concern with this petition was not that it was, we believe this is a great ministry that is happening in the Palestinian area, but we were concerned about withholding foreign aid. The last part of the sentence is not clear about when that aid would be restored, and so we felt like it wasn't clear or fair.
Okay, so that is a speech for. We're on the amendment. We have one speech for. We have someone in the queue that would like to speak against it. Armando, I have a little trouble seeing here. Armando Ariana, and we're going to invite you to go to microphone number 5.
Armando Aureliano, East Ohio Cavaliers, Conference. Well, when I signed up, Bishop, I want to speak against the minority report. So I think it was no longer...
Well, we have an amendment before us. There is no minority report. Okay. Is there anyone else that would like to speak against the amendment? Not seeing any. Oh, there's one there. Sandra Olwine, would you please go to microphone number 2?
Thank you, Bishop. Sandra Olwine, California Pacific Annual Conference Clergy. I would speak against the amendment. The petition calls us to communicate to our government and to the Israeli civil authorities the destruction and confiscation of land that continues to go on in Wadi Fukin, that is destroying the agricultural life, the potential for the families and people to continue to live in that village, to work, to be able to feed their families. The call for the cessation of financial aid to Israel is a way of saying that we're serious about this. It is a call for it. It's not demanding it, but it's suggesting that that's the way in which we can begin to hold Israel accountable for the violations of human rights that continue to go on in the occupied territories. It's an important way of leverage. This is not about punishing Israel somehow against the Palestinian Authority or holding them in different places. But the reality is we give money to support Israel, which continues to support the confiscation of the land, the destruction of the way of life of this village in which we have invested time and energy and commitment to. And it's a way for us to begin to say that there are human rights standards that we value and that we do not want our tax dollars to continue to go no to those things which destroy life and actually defeat the call that we have to build peace and trust between these two peoples. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We've had one speech for and one speech against. I'm going to invite the person who made the amendment to please bring that up in writing so that we have that here at the desk, if you'd bring that to the secretary. All right, we have Edwin Mamo that would like to speak for microphone number 6.
Bishop Edwin Momo from the Sierra Leone Annual Conference. I would like to speak in favor of the amendment.
That is in order.
And Bishop, I have been to Israel twice, and I have listened passionately to presentations made from both sides of the divide. But given the complexity of the situation in those lands, any unbiased mind that goes in will come out even more confused. I would love to see the end of illegal occupation. True. I also would love to see an end to oppression of Palestinian Christians. I love to see both sides living side by side without fear. But I believe a legislation of this nature demanding the U.S. government's action to withhold foreign aid from people needing it will not only be in the best interest of bringing these two sides together and even bringing the needed change. The language in that petition is overly broad and is seemingly very general. Using one situation for a generality can unfortunately be very misleading, and therefore would want to uphold the amendment.
All right. That's a speech against the amendment. That sounded like it was for, but did you indicate that it was against the amendment?
I'm upholding the amendment, Bishop.
Excuse me?
I'm upholding the amendment.
You're upholding.
In favor.
You're in favor. Okay, thank you very much. So we've had 2 speeches for, 1 speech against, and the chair and the vice chair of the committee would like to speak last and is going to speak against. We'll come to that in just one. No, we'll actually be able to go to that now. So you may have the last word.
We're not in support of the amendment. It's not just about land and the confiscation of land. This petition expresses our concerns regarding the poor quality of life inflicted on the villagers of Wadi Fukim. As an advanced project community development site, this project equips women with entrepreneurial skills, trains up locals in first aid, and teaches young men Hebrew so that they can acquire employment in Israeli companies. These efforts and initiatives that we do as United Methodists are in jeopardy because no one is holding the Israeli government accountable for the actions that disrupts and destructs the lives of the villagers. Therefore, we recommend that you support this petition as it stands. Thank you.
All right. I see that you're ready to vote. Please take your keypad. All those who would vote in favor, please select 1 for yes, and those who oppose, 2 for no. Please vote now. The amendment is supported. It is now part of the main motion. We're now back on the main motion, DCA 2213, calendar item 437, ADCA 892. We've not had any speeches for or against. Okay, we do not have the amendment yet. That needs to be brought forward. Please bring that now. All right, I have someone who would like to speak for the petition, Shayla Jordan, and if you would go to microphone number 2.
Shayla Jordan, Great Plains Annual Conference. I would just like to speak in favor of this petition and tell the conference a little bit about this village. This village currently lies right on the border of where the West Bank is and where Israel is, and Israel is constantly moving in that border. So this village right now is in potential to be taken over. This village is constantly under occupation right next to it and oppression. This is also a village that GBGM has built a soccer field on and has been threatened to be taken down because they didn't have a building permit for it, because we weren't allowed to get a building permit on the Palestinian side. And so this village needs the support of us. They need the petition to go to the government, and so that we are saying that we are in favor of them. This isn't an issue of whether it's you're for or against Israel. This isn't a political agenda. This is simply human rights. These people are under oppression. They are constantly being threatened with demolition orders. There's people that live on this land that their houses have been torn down multiple times. Their trees have been uprooted. This is terrible. And so I think that you guys should vote in favor of this petition, that we support Wadi Fukin. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We've had one speech for, no speeches against. I see there is no one that wants to speak against the motion. Are you ready to vote? All of those, please take out your keypads. It has been amended, which deletes C in the petition. All those who would vote in favor, please select 1. All of those opposed, please select 2. Please vote now. All right, you have supported the petition. Thank you very much.
Bishop, we want to just let the House know there are 4 other petitions that we were not able to consider. We ran out of time on Saturday. They may come up depending on how much time is left, but I guess the work of God in this world is never completely done. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's share our appreciation for the Board of Global Ministries. We do have a Judicial Council ruling, and I'm going to turn to our secretary to read the decision.
The digest of the decision in the request from the General Conference for review of Judicial Council decisions 542 and 544, as well as paragraphs 1633, 304, and 2702. Paragraphs 16 and 33 of the Constitution assign specific authority and responsibility to the General Conference and to the annual conferences in the United Methodist Church. They are not in conflict. Paragraphs 304 and 2702 are legitimate legislative enactments of the General Conference. Decisions 542 and 544 of the Judicial Council are not in conflict. There are dissenting opinions.
All right, thank you very much. And again, we're grateful for the work of the Judicial Council that's been working pretty hard. We've had them working pretty hard since we've been here. We're grateful for their work and their continued ministry. I'm now going to turn to a point of order. Oliver Green, microphone number 2. Could you please go to the microphone and state your purpose?
Oliver Green, Great Plains Conference. Bishop, I just want to make sure I understood what you just said before I went to the judicial issue. On the Wadi Fukin petition,
yes,
I understood that the amendment did pass. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And the amendment was not to delete C, but to delete a portion of C. Help me if I'm incorrect.
I think you're correct. Unfortunately, we did not have the amendment here, and I relied on the chair, and so I'm sorry we didn't quite get that exact, but thank you for helping us with that. Thank you very much. All right, we're now going to move to the next petition, and Latrell Easterling from Church and Society B.
Thank you, Bishop. The petition that is before us can be found in your DCA on page 2207, DCA page 2207, calendar item 386, calendar item 386. In your ADCA, it is page 299, ADCA page 299, and the petition number is 60114. 60114. Culture and identity. There is an amendment. The amendment would change the location of the petition should this body move to adopt. Instead of becoming part of a subparagraph of 161, it would now be 161A, and all of the other subparagraphs would move beneath it. Human diversity is a reflection of God. It is not the antithesis of who we are in God. It is the very reflection of who we are in God. Through relationships and engagements with different cultures, we learn from one another. We have talked a lot in these past 11 days about how we are a global church. Within that global church, there's a cacophony of different languages and different dialects. That is part of the beauty of who we are. Yet as we grasp our identity as a global church, we must take care to be sure that no identity or culture has more legitimacy than another. There should not be one culture that's deemed normative and all other cultures beneath that. None should be privileged over another. And where we find such, the church is called to challenge all such hierarchies. And so, Bishop, with that amendment, the petition is before the body.
All right. And you're amending the discipline, is that correct?
Yes, it's placement in the discipline.
It's placement. So you're actually moving from one paragraph to another place in the discipline.
It would become 161A. So it would become the first part of that paragraph.
All right. Very good. So page 2207, calendar item number 386, petition number 60114, ADCA 299 is properly before us. I see we have a point of order, parliamentary inquiry. I'm going to ask Betty Cateo to go to microphone 3.
Thank you, Bishop. It's actually taken care of. I wanted to ask about the Judicial Council ruling.
Okay.
I didn't understand it, but then you had already passed.
Okay, thank you. All right, the petition is now before us. I do see there is someone who would like to speak for, let's see, James Nibelink, and go to microphone number 2.
Thank you, Bishop. Jim Nibelink, Desert Southwest Lay. I was part of this discussion, which was rich and extended, and my wife and I have been privileged to have been to many parts of the world, most of the continents, and we have been so enriched by becoming familiar as best we could with the local people wherever they lived. My culture, I have learned, is the same overall in our values of human life, healthy children, and those kinds of things. I find no reason to differentiate to lift one culture above another. I may have left thinking I was pretty good, but I learned that everyone else is good as well. So I support the intent, I support the legislation and how it's been amended. I recommend that we all support it so that we can all affirm as children of God, there is one culture under God, and we are those children. Thank you.
All right, thank you. That is a speech for. Now looking for a speech against. I see that Holly Grant would like to speak against the petition. If you would go to microphone number 5.
Thank you very much, Bishop. I would speak against this because of the word cultural identity. Here at annual conference, I have seen words that I have identified or defined all my life in one way, twisted to mean something else. And so I'm leery of what and how this change will be used.
All right, thank you very much. That's a speech against. We've had one speech for and one speech against. We'll now turn to a speech for Tashimbu Mayombe, microphone number 4.
Thank you, Bishop, for granting me the opportunity to speak. It's Jethro Chiombi Muyumbi. So I would like to speak for.
That is in order. You may speak.
Merci.
Thank you. I would like to speak for, and perhaps I might even ask to go to Ezekiel 2018, but I would have liked to have added that to this. I am basing myself on that text from Scripture because the Word of God says that we have been called by Jesus Christ and that we are children of God and we have a culture which is the culture of Jesus Christ. I am one of those who has had the opportunity to travel here and there, and I have been really frustrated when I arrive in a church that is said to be a United Methodist, and that I find that their way of adoring God is truly connected to their tradition, and that is not a part of the Universal Church or the Methodist Church. So that identity of Jesus Christ is, and to reduce these cultures, I think that will give us a better chance to be an inclusive church and will give us a real feeling of being a United Methodist Church. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was a speech for. We've had 2 speeches for and 1 speech against. I do see there is a motion to move, to table or postpone or refer. Sergey Kim, microphone number 2.
Dear Bishop, I would like to offer to postpone this petition.
All right.
And not to waste our time.
That's a move to table. Is there a second?
Есть ли поддержка этому?
There was a second. All right. To table is not debatable. There is now a motion before us to table this petition. Please take out your keypads. Are you ready to vote? All who would table the petition, please select 1. Those who do not want to table, please select 2. Please vote now. All right, you have voted not to table. We're back on the main petition. We've had 2 speeches for, 1 speech against. I do see Paul Morelli would like to speak against. Microphone number 6, please.
Thank you, Bishop. Paul Morelli, Western Pennsylvania Conference, lay delegate. I'll just keep this short. I don't like the wording in this, and the thought that comes to mind is something that apologist Dr. Ravi Zacharias said one time. He said, some cultures love their neighbors, some cultures eat their neighbors. Do you have a personal preference?
All right, that's a speech against. We've had 2 speeches for, 2 against. We now will turn to the chair for any other comments.
I'd just like to close with this. After this, I looked, and behold, a great multitude that no one could number, from every nation, from all tribes and peoples and languages, standing before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed in white robes with palm branches in their hands. In God we are unified, but it does not nullify our diversity. It makes it all the more beautiful. Thank you, Bishop.
Thank you very much. Please take out your keypads. We're now ready to vote on DCA 2207. Calendar item number 386, petition number 60114, ADCA 290. If you would support the petition, please push 1, select 1 for yes, and 2 for no. Please vote now. And the petition is supported. Thank you very much for your work. We appreciate that greatly. Let's share our appreciation. All right, we're going to turn to the next item, and we have with us Brad. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right, Brad.
My name is Bradley Lorvik, clergy from the Rocky Mountain Conference and chair of the Church and Society B Subcommittee 2. I cannot adequately express what a joy of ministry it was serving in that subcommittee. It was easily the pinnacle of holy conferencing, and I will long remember my work with its members. I bring for your consideration from that subcommittee and then committee a petition related to the church's ministry with those going through divorce. It amends language in the paragraph to speak of nurturing healthy relationships. Oh, I forgot all those important numbers. My apologies. Will be on the DCA, page 2207. 2207. You'll find it there as calendar item 385. In your ADCA, you'll find it on page 301. It's petition number 60680 on page 301, 60680, speaking of divorce. Now that we're literally on the same page, I bring for your consideration this petition related to the church's ministry with those going through divorce. It amends language in the paragraph to speak of nurturing healthy relationships, expanding the timeline of marriage ministry to include premarital and postmarital. With this new language, the church is seen helping at every stage of relationships during marriage. For example, good pre-marriage work can help minimize divorce, and good post-divorce care must be offered like we do at other times of loss. The committee supported this petition 48-23. I close with language that already exists in the paragraph. God's plan is for lifelong, faithful marriage. This petition lets us support that further.
All right, thank you very much. The petition is now before you. Are you ready to vote? I do see a point of order. Fridas Grinna, microphone number 1, please.
Thank you, Bishop. Frøydis Grinna, Norway Annual Conference. I tried to slip in with a point of order in between the two, so I'm sorry that this is not related to this commission's work. Do you want me to proceed or to wait?
Is it something that are we out of order on something? Is it a question?
I raise a request to request a decision by the Judicial Council.
Okay, that is, you've asked to come before us. That's not a proper, you did not use the proper mechanism for that.
Okay, I tried that earlier but didn't get in either.
Is that right?
Yes.
We're going to have to do something about that. So I'll look for you when you go back and work, get you in the right slot there.
Thank you very much, Bishop.
Thank you. All right, we're back on the petition. All right, are you ready to vote? There's no one that wants to speak for or against, so I trust you're ready to vote. Please take out your keypad. If you would select number 1 to support the petition, number 2 to vote no, please vote now. The petition is supported. Thank you very much. We appreciate your work. Thank you, Fred. All right, we'll now move to the next item, and Beverly all right, Morris Mathis.
This is, Bishop, this is being brought from the floor by Beverly Guy.
Ah, very good.
So you got it?
I got it right, okay. Beverly, what microphone? Microphone number 1? Do I have that right? Here she comes.
Beverly Nisha Guy, West Michigan Conference, lay. I stand before you bringing the Responsible Parenthood petition. This is a revision and readoption. This petition upholds our church's carefully nuanced position on abortion. The petition does not change the Book of Discipline's position on abortion. Parenthood is sacred. It allows for time for education, medical care, responsible choices, and this needs to be done fairly for all.
Excuse me 1 second. I think we need to help the body understand where we are.
Sure.
So, okay.
You want me to do it?
Yes, please.
Okay. So the petition that we're working on is in your DCA, page 2323. 2323. Calendar number 497. 497. And in your ADCAs, page number 327, 327, petition number 60249.
All right, thank you very much. This is has been brought to us off the consent calendar, so that's why it's coming.
It's not consent calendar. It's not consent calendar.
Oh,
it was not supported.
I see.
It was not supported.
It was not supported, so it's coming from the floor. We'll go back now to microphone number 1.
Thank you, Bishop. This petition, we felt, did not get adequate debate. It was toward the end of Saturday evening, and it did not get the equal number of debating. I will return to say that parenthood is sacred, and in this petition would allow us to provide more education, better medical care, and responsible choices in contraception that enables women to respond to the challenges that are put before them. It stresses family planning, access to good maternal health care. The World Health Organization uses the following definition. Family planning allows individuals and couples to anticipate and attain their desired number of children and the spacing and timing of their births. It is achieved through the use of contraceptive methods and treatment in maternal health care. I am asking us to look beyond our middle-class lenses. Most of us in this room fall in that category. To look at how this would affect women and families around the world that would help to safeguard their maternal health rights and provide for safe, responsible, productive health care for women and girls, and thus helping us to broaden our global nature of maternal health. Thank you.
All right, that is a speech for. Is there a speech against? I see there's a speech against. I'm going to turn to Vicki Steineman, microphone number 6.
Thank you, Bishop. Vicki Stallman, Western Pennsylvania. I come before this body as a grandmother who will become a grandmother again in just 1 month. My grandson already has a name, Hunter James. We began to anticipate his arrival as soon as we heard that my daughter-in-law was pregnant. I implore you to hear my words. This petition does not recognize that his little life began at conception. Abortion stops a beating heart. Even if you consider yourself pro-choice, this resolution does not recognize the humanity and value of my grandson. Please vote against this petition. Thank you.
All right, that's a speech against the petition. We've had one speech for and one speech against. I'm going to turn to Emma Cantor, microphone number 3, to speak for. Microphone number 3.
Bishop, Emma Cantor from the Philippine Central Conference. I work around Asia, especially the underdeveloped countries, and I meet a lot of mothers and parents who are poor. Majority of them are poor. And mothers are multi-burdened. They think of where living is needed to be responded to, and they work hard, and they still bear a lot of problems around families. And thus, there is a need to educate mothers, especially on responsible parenthood. Because many mothers in these third world countries have no access at all in terms of the provisions by government and in terms even of provisions by private. We talk about medical provisions. We talk about access of centers that has to be given to them, but they are not available. So I plead this conference to ease the burdens of mothers and parents as well, to give them immediate response to what they need as mothers of the lands. This responsible parenthood has been already discussed among the United Nations levels about sustainable development goals. And I plead that this conference would approve responsible parenthood. Thank you, Bishop.
Thank you very much. That is a speech for. We have 2 speeches for, 1 speech against. I see that there is a point of order parliamentary inquiry. I'm going to turn to James Eichner, microphone number 4.
Thank you, Bishop. James Eichner from Sacramento, California, California-Nevada Annual Conference. I see that this resolution was originally adopted in 1976, readopted in 1996, 2004, and 2008.
What is your point of order?
My question for information, sir,
okay,
is if we defeat this petition, does that mean that the entire several pages of this resolution will disappear from the Book of Resolutions? Thank you.
The answer is yes.
Yes, I'll turn to the chair.
I believe the answer to that is yes.
All right, thank you very much. Now we're back on speeches. We have 2 for and 1 against. I see that Beverly Maddox would like to speak against. Microphone number 4, please. Microphone number 4.
Good afternoon, Bishop. I'm Beverly Maddox from the Alabama-West Florida Conference. I speak against this petition because the language in it does support abortion. It supports it as a means of birth control. It plainly says any safe, effective means of birth control for parents who have decided that their family is enough and they don't want any more children, for families who have decided that their daughters do not need to have a baby. I reject this petition on the grounds that it says that life does not begin at the moment of conception. Please explain that to me as a mother who has had multiple miscarriages. My babies' lives began the minute that those 2 cells joined together and began to multiply immediately. God created me this way, and I stand to ask you to not support this. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. That's a speech against. We've had 2 speeches for and 2 against. We're ready to go to vote, but I do see there's a point of order, parliamentary inquiry. Michelle Acri, microphone number 5. Is it a Michael?
Oui, merci Bishop. Michel Acré, conférence.
Michel Acré from the Annual Conference of Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire. If you allow me, I would like to remind everyone that we are a united Methodist church. So we are a big church, a large church that constitutes the body of Christ.
Excuse me.
And that is the reason of our presence here.
Can you just hold 1 second? Please state the purpose for coming to the microphone. Is this a point of order or a question?
Alors, l'intervention, c'est que je suis contre.
I am against abortion, and I would like to justify my opposition towards abortion. I would like to remind everyone.
Thank you. We've already had 2 speeches for and 2 speeches against. We cannot take any more speeches against. We're now going to go to the vote. Please take out your keypads. If you would vote in favor, please press 1 for yes and 2 for no. Please vote now. Thank you. You did not support. I do see there are cards. When we're in the middle of a vote, we cannot turn to any microphone. I do see, I'll recognize you at microphone number 6. Name and purpose, please.
Chuck Savage, clergy, North Georgia. And when we decided to take this vote, the question that I was trying to raise is, since the DCA says that the committee voted not to support, was the vote to support the committee or was the vote to support the petition?
Yes, it was on the petition. The petition was brought from the person from the floor. She brought the petition. It was a straight up vote for the petition or against the petition. That's by our rules. Thank you. I'm going to turn now to our secretary, who has an announcement.
Actually, it's a request. Would Dr. Rhoda Manzo from Nigeria, please come to the table here.
Go ahead. As previous committee chair said, we also have more petitions on the schedule, but I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that this is the last report for Church and Society 2, and just want to express appreciation to the members of that committee who engaged one another in authentic ways in dealing with some of the most difficult issues that we face in our church and really in our culture, and they did so with love and grace throughout. So it was a true blessing to work with each of them. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you. Let us share our appreciation for the committee and the chairs. Now, let me just say that you can stay here, Bethany. Let me just say there are people in the queue that would like to bring new motions to the floor. I'm not calling on those persons because we already have calendared items before us, so people want to bring new business before us. And so that's why I'm staying with what is calendared. If we have time or, I feel we need to, we'll turn to those. But we're going to stay with our calendared items. So now we're going to turn to Bethany and Amy.
Thank you, Bishop. Bethany Amy, Greater New Jersey Annual Conference, Church and Society A. We are now on DCA, page 2206, calendar item number 377, ADCA, page number 279, petition number 60448, Caring for Creation, a call to stewardship and justice. This petition was supported in committee with a vote of 47 in favor, 12 did not support. This petition combines and clearly streamlines 5 existing resolutions to provide one foundational statement for study and action to care for God's good creation. This committee made one amendment that can be found on DCA, page 2206. This amendment was to include language that is currently in the Book of Resolutions that supports the Clergy Letter Project. This is a project that is focused on education on matters of science and religion. No other changes were made to the petition as submitted. Furthermore, the committee recommends that you adopt this petition as printed. Thank you, Bishop.
All right, thank you, Bethany. So we're on DCA, page 2206. We're on calendar item 378, petition number 60448, ADCA 279. That is properly before us. I see there is no one who wants to speak for or against. Are you ready to vote? All of those, please take out your keypads. Excuse me? We'll go to microphone number 2. I see somebody waving a card. Maybe their iPad is not working, their keypad. Microphone number 2.
Dixie Brewster, Great Plains Conference, and I want to speak against this because...
Okay, you didn't queue in. Was there a problem with the queue
Yes,
machine?
you were going to vote and I didn't get queued in
Okay, well, we'll queue you in now. And your name again?
Thank you. Dixie Brewster, Great Plains Conference. And I am against, I looked it up online, and it says the purpose of this clergy letter project is to support the teaching of evolution. And I believe that is a very dangerous territory to go into, and so I strongly speak against this.
All right, that is a speech against. Is there a speech for? All right. Bethany, you have the last word. Would you like to say anything?
Like I said in my earlier statement, the committee voted to support this petition with a vote of 47 to 12. It is a streamlining of petitions that are currently there, and we did make the small amendment, but it was still passed in committee with a vote of 47 to 12. So I recommend that you support this petition.
All right, please take out your keypads. All of those who would vote in support, please select 1 for yes and 2 for no. Please vote now. And you have supported the petition. Thank you, Amy. I see that you have one more. Amy, before we go to that, Bethany. Now, what you need to know is Bethany is from Greater New Jersey Conference, and every time she comes to the floor in the Greater New Jersey Conference, I do the same thing. So I told her just a few minutes ago I was going to start to call her Merle.
And I said you could call me Matt, Bishop.
Okay, Matt. We're going to call you Matt. Bethany, I'm so sorry. I apologize.
No worries.
We're now going to turn to Auden Wested, who has an appeal to the chair, decision of the chair. Microphone number 1.
Bishop, Audun Weste, Norway Annual Conference, lay delegate. I want to appeal your decision that you just made, because a couple of minutes ago...
Excuse me, can you tell me what decision you're referring to?
You said you would not recognize any new motion, and that's a contradiction to what you said a few minutes before.
I think what I said was I would not recognize any new business. And so what I thought was happening before was somebody was making a motion that it was actually a secondary motion, and they're not making a secondary motion. So that's what I was referring to.
Okay.
You see, you don't have the benefit of seeing what I have here. It's all color-coded for me. It makes it so easy. And so there are different colors, and if a motion is in a particular color, it moves below the other motions. And so the motion that 2 people wanted to make actually were lower motions than what is on our agenda already. So, Bethany.
Let me help you.
Bethany, yeah, that's right. Bethany, would you please help me? All right. Bethany, we'll turn now to the petition.
Okay, great. We are now on DCA, page 2206, calendar item 377, ADCA, page number 275, petition number 60262, Principles for a Just and Sustainable Extraction and Production. The committee recommends you to adopt this petition with the amendments that are printed on page 2206 in the DCA. This resolution will replace existing resolution 1024, the precautionary principle, with a more thorough tool for the evaluation of industrial processes of extraction and production based on the 4 principles listed in the ADCA. This resolution would give an ethical framework with which to hold industries accountable to the community they operate within. The committee recommends that you adopt this resolution.
All right, it is properly before us. Are you ready to vote? I see no one wants to speak to it. Please take out your keypad. Please select 1 to support, yes, and 2 for no. Please vote now. and it is supported. Thank you very much, Bethany. We appreciate you and your team's work. You've done a great job. Let's share our appreciation.
Thank you so much, Bishop.
Thank you.
And thanks to our legislative committee.
All right, let's try one more. Judicial administration. Tim, no, not Tim. Kim?
Thank you, Bishop. My name is Amy.
Amy. Okay. All right. Everybody that gets to speak now, I'm just going to call you Merle. So just be patient. All right. Go ahead.
Amy Lippold, Great Plains, Subcommittee Chair for Judicial Administration, Committee B. We are on DCA page 2103. 2103. Calendar item number 82. To be found in the ADCA, page 1009, dealing with petition 60521. This petition deals with the ability of certain groups to request a declaratory decision of the Judicial Council about whether or not a particular piece of legislation passes the constitutional test. Currently, our Council of Bishops or this body, the General Conference, can make referrals to the Judicial Council to ask for that declaratory decision before an item is acted upon. The petition allows the Association of Lay Leaders to also ask for a declaratory decision from the Judicial Council. Our committee discussed the petition, decided it was appropriate to give the Association of Lay Leaders this authority, and we voted 45 for, 4 against.
All right, that is properly before us. I see that there are persons who want to speak against. I'm going to first go to Jeffrey Ozan, microphone number 5. Jeffrey, microphone number 5.
Thank you, Bishop. Jeffrey Ozan, Clergy Delegate, Minnesota Annual Conference. I'd like to speak against this motion. I think that while it is important for people to be able to make a declaratory statement, as we saw with Plan UMC, there was a lot of concern that such premature assessments by Judicial Council would become prejudicial in how we felt about different petitions. I also think that it's worrisome to give it to the Association of Conference Lay Leaders, because while they are elected by annual conferences, most of us vote simply on whoever's put before us in an up or down manner very quickly, without a lot of thought to all the duties and decisions they may make. When we talk about who has this sort of power, the bishops are elected both by clergy and laity in a very serious way, and so I feel much more comfortable leaving them with the power, along with General Conference, to make these petitions for declaratory judgment to Judicial Council.
All right, thank you very much. That is a speech against. Before we go to a speech for, I do have someone who wants to raise a point of order or parliamentary inquiry. Andreas Elving, microphone number 1.
Thank you, Bishop. Andreas Elving, Finland-Swedish Provisional Annual Conference. And I do apologize, this is not regarding the matter at hand, but we're trying to figure out how to help or follow the instructions that you gave our sister from Norway when she tried to ask for something to be referred to the Judicial Council. As you stated earlier, it was not, she should remove herself and do it the right way, which we thought we saw her do. And then you said that you will not take up any new matters anymore, which my brother from Norway then tried to correct. So just please help us.
Sure. You know, I can appreciate what you're saying, and I should have asked what she wanted to propose, and that was my fault. What originally happened was she put in for a point of order, and she wanted to make a motion, and so that's out of order. I thought it was a secondary motion that she wanted to make, when really it was what we might call a third motion that she wanted to make, which really then comes after our other business that's before us. So I apologize for misleading the body and for misleading her. It was not my intent to mislead, but she did not have the floor properly by asking for a point of order. And then when she went back in, what I then did see was that she wanted to bring new business to the floor rather than acting on the business that has already been calendared.
Bishop, that is how we were instructed in the first session. I just looked it up in the script. What was said that if we want to ask for a decision, something to be referred to the Judicial Council, that's how it should be entered into the system. So if that is not correct, please help out.
Well, what I've just explained to you is correct.
So what is the thing on the iPad that one should click?
One should click. It's a referral. It should come under a referral. It's a motion to refer. It should come under a motion to referral.
That seems to be the motion at hand. Okay.
Yeah. So it would come under a motion to refer.
We'll try that.
Okay, thank you. We're back on now on the item that is before us. We've had one speech against. We're going to take one speech for, and then I'm going to see if you're ready to vote because we are at an order of the day. I'm going to ask Kenton Fulton to go to microphone number 6.
Making a statement at Kent Fulton, Oklahoma Annual Conference, making a statement in favor of the petition. One of the beauties of the United Methodist Church is the balance and representation between clergy and laity. We have an equal number of delegates here who are clergy and laity. The annual conference lay leaders essentially represent the equivalent in our system to the bishops on the lay side. The opportunity for the laity to have the Judicial Council speak on these matters seems to me only fair and in keeping with the traditions of this church.
Thank you very much. That is a speech for. We've had a speech against and a speech for. Let me tell you where we are. We are at an order of the day. It's a hard stop. We must stop now. I do not see anyone. I do see someone that wants to suspend the rules. Let me just see if it is in reference to what is before us. I'm going to turn to Benjamin Trammell and to microphone number 3. Benjamin Trammell, microphone number 3.
So I rise to move to suspend the rules to allow us to endorse petitions that receive a certain level of support in committee since we're running out of time.
Okay. The request is to suspend the rules so that we can endorse petitions that received a particular percentage in the committee. Is there a second? All right, it is not debatable. It requires a 2/3 vote. So let me tell you where we are. If you suspend the rules, there's really 2 things that are going to have to be suspended. You're going to have to deal with here because we're at a hard stop, so you're going to have to extend the time, and then also you're going to have to make the additional motions. So I just want the body to be aware of where we are. So if you vote to suspend the rules, you are not only opening the possibility to extending our time, but you are then also opening the possibility to look at petitions that received a particular percentage. There's not debatable. It's been properly seconded. Please take out your keypad. It requires a 2/3 vote. Vote 1 for yes and 2 for no. Please vote now. You did not suspend the rules. We are at a hard stop so that we have completed all of the petitions that we will be looking at this General Conference session. I want to thank you. You've done a great job. We got through quite a number of petitions this afternoon. Grateful for your working together and all the good work that you've done. I invite you to hold steady. There are a couple of important things that we'll be doing. First, I'm going to turn to our secretary for some announcements.
Judicial Council Memorandum 1322, the referral of proposed legislation, petition number 60069, came to us late in the session. Since we do not have time to deal adequately with the referral, we are returning the proposed legislation to General Conference for its action. You just needed to know that that's what happened to it. Please return the interpretation equipment as you leave. Delegates, please go to the back wall of the, what's that word? Well, where you had your snacks during the breaks.
Function area.
The function area. I believe you mean out there. And the visitor who gave their documents, please go to the same location. That is someone who used their documents to get a headset. A delegate from Nigeria is in hospital. Amos Davidson took ill early this morning and is in hospital. Amos Davidson of Nigeria, let's keep him in prayer. This might be important for Bernadine Johnson. Bernadine Johnson, your wallet and 2 sets of keys have been found and can be claimed at the hospitality desk. Asked for prayers for Naden Gokenauer and family, a 4th grader from Parsons, West Virginia. Grandparents are active in the local church, and he's been diagnosed with inoperable malignant brainstem tumor, starting radiation treatments on Monday. And I'm going to exceed my authority for just a moment to say thank you, friends. I've had a wonderful 12 years, and I very much appreciate your support.
We thank you, Jerry. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We're now going to turn to our order of the day. God bless you.